I'm Jackson and welcome to my YouTube channel, Edible Garden Growers. On this episode we're going to be talking about the irrigation I use to water everything here. With all these pots you see here behind me, I got some 15s, these are 30s, 15s, some 5 gallons and some 1 gallons. I do hand watering with just the hose with all those guys. I got quite a few pots, so that takes me longer than anything. And then I got a couple 10-foot rows, some 20-foot rows, and a couple other larger sized beds, large for my size backyard. I do drip irrigation with all those. I'll walk you through what kind of system I use, how that works. I'll also talk to you about the hoses I use, the attachments I use, the filter I use, everything to make everything as convenient and easy as possible while maintaining the highest level of water quality I can achieve. So let's get to it. I'm going to start off this section talking about the hoses I like. These guys are by Water Right. I've got 5 of them total. This is a 100-footer, this one's a 75, and this one's a 50, I think. It's a soaker hose though, not a regular hose. These guys are all made of polyurethane. Most hoses are made out of PVC or some other chemical that likes to leach into your water supply. You can taste the plastic when you drink from it. Your plants can taste that. They don't like it. These guys, straight out of the box, they're not going to leach anything. They'll hold up a lot longer than a regular PVC hose. They don't break down in the sun, at least nearly as quickly. They can sit in the sun, although I'd rather not do that, and you're not really going to have any issues. I use a 75-footer for my main watering. It can reach pretty much everywhere in the yard. This 100-footer I've got for hooking up to my nutrient tank, which is behind the shed, which is just out of sight. I'll use this so I can get to all the far ends of the property to water things from the nutrient tank when I need to. This soaker hose I haven't used in like over a year at this point. That worked well when we were on a smaller level, but now we're at a level that I couldn't afford to do the whole garden that way, and I just don't also like the weeping aspect for all plants. Yeah, these are the hoses that I use. Just use a regular watering head by Dram with the multiple different settings. Starts to leak after a while though, but it still does the job. And I highly recommend these hoses. I'm not getting paid by these guys. I just really recommend them. They're based out of Oregon, so if you're someone here that's local watching this, you're supporting a local company, and if you're not local, I still highly recommend supporting them because they're a great company. So even though I live in Portland and we have great tap water compared to the rest of the country, I'm still a bit of a water snob and like to filter my water. When I started doing it, I noticed an improvement with my plants. It also just tastes better to drink out of. Water filter combined with a polyurethane hose, you can't taste anything in that. So this is by iSpring. It is a 60,000 gallon capacity whole house water filter system. So that means it's designed to go on the inlet valve of your house and is supposed to filter all of your house's watering needs. And the filter is rated for 60,000 gallons. I just have it set up in my greenhouse underneath my little desk. And yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I've definitely noticed an improvement in the garden since I started using it, and it just gives me more peace of mind knowing I'm not dumping chemicals into my garden. So everything you see here is from Irrigation King. This is what I use to set up my irrigation system. The distribution tubing that I use across the property is this blue stripe tubing. It is 3/4 inch poly tubing. It connects to these guys right here. These are 3/4 inch Perma-Loc couplers and valves. So These guys screw to lock the pieces in place. So I'll take a piece like this. It can be kind of a pain to get them on there. You can use spit or water or whatever to lube them up, make it easier. I want to make sure that twist piece is all the way back, force it in there, and then tighten it while still applying the pressure. If you tighten it without applying the pressure and just go straight like that, you can back this piece up off the barb. So you want to make sure you're holding it in place. And then once it's mostly on there, then you can hand tighten it the last little bit. Yep, so it's a 90-degree elbow. This is a T, same dealio. This guy is a valve. This guy is an end cap. End cap can screw off, so if you need to clear the line for whatever reason. There's multiple of these pieces that have different threadings. This one that comes with the end cap will not work with a hose. You need a different one to fit the hose valve, and it's not going to come with these. I cannot remember the exact name of it. I can link it in the description, however. These guys are 5/8 inch drip tape attachments. This guy is our end piece, a little hook, stick it on the end of the drip line, throw a little stake in there, hold the drip line in place. Same dealio, you put the drip line on there, or drip tape. Blue stripe side is down. There's emitters every 8 inches on these guys. So same deal, tighten that while holding it in place. Once it's fairly tight, you can twist the rest without holding it. There you go. So then we could throw a valve on there. You want to make sure those pieces are all the way pushed back before you push the hose on. Otherwise they will not tighten on there properly. So this is just like a little basic example setup. You can even have a valve like this halfway down a long drip tape line if you're wanting to only water like the first or second half of the, or I guess you can't water the second half. If you want to water the first half independently of the second half, if you've got multiple different things with different watering needs. Yeah, I use these guys all over the property. I have 30-inch wide beds. I do 3 of those per bed. I highly recommend swooping one of these guys. It makes cutting this stuff a breeze. If you use any other tool, it's going to be a real pain. This stuff comes in big rolls. I think the cheapest one's about 120 bucks. And then similar for this guy. This is 1,000 feet of drip tape, 8-inch spacing, 15 millimeters thick. This guy is about 120, I think, 140, somewhere around there. It's their smallest size. It's not the cheapest thing, but it does work well, and it's got a pretty good lifespan too. So next I will show you how I have all this set up across the property. So for the actual distribution of all the water on the property, it starts here at my back spigot. Water goes through this guy. It's a pressure regulator. It is set at, I think, right around 60 or 55. That is to keep the pressure under a certain level going into my water filter. It's got a max inload pressure, so that's just to make sure I don't mess with my filter. Water goes along that bottom tube, through that little wall, behind all this stuff, and into my greenhouse. What comes in on the bottom tube there works its way underneath the filter. Comes up right here. I don't actually use this timer because the spigot leaks at this source, so I don't really want to just leave the spigot on while this is working and turning water off. So I'm sure I'll use it one day, just not now. Water goes through this little valve into the 2-stage filter. It is a carbon filter and a sediment filter in there. Water then comes down this way, another valve, and then it splits. So one of the T's goes this way, underneath the door. There's a T that splits right here behind this post. Comes up, bit of a mess. Then we go to this guy. This does all of the watering for my indoor plants. A little lead-free brass nozzle with a stainless steel valve. It's a huge upgrade, made watering a lot easier. So if I continue along this past the T, we get a couple more T's. So this turns into 3 valves and 3 hoses, all going out the store. I'll show you later where those go. This bottom one controls all of my pepper beds for the front yard. The one on the right here controls all the medicinal herb beds. And then this guy controls the hose that I've got out in the front yard. I'll take you that way in a little bit. If we go back this way, back to that T, water goes down this way, another valve. I never actually used that one, but I've got it if I need it. Typically more useful during the winter, so I don't have water going back out into the freezing cold. So then that's that top one. Works its way up to here. Got another, this one's not a pressure regulator, but just a PSI valve. Lets me know what kind of outlet pressure I'm getting. The max PSI that the drip line can get, if I remember correctly, is 11 PSI, so I just use this to monitor it because I'm not able to water my front and backyard all at once. I've got it segregated into 3 different zones, and each one has a different watering need, so I just make sure that that's staying not too high. I can get it up around 20 and not cause problems, although I have broken a few lines. So just something to be aware of. And then I've got my hose here. Have that guy for a few years, been working great. Then the water continues on. Goes behind all of this stuff up against the house. And then it comes to this little 4-way spigot here. This top one goes to the pumpkin bed. This guy goes to the 2 10-foot beds and the 3 20-foot beds. This guy goes to the garlic bed at the far end and the bed along the fence and the herb bed, the 1 herb bed we have back here. And then this guy goes to all the raised beds. Yeah, the raised beds. So this guy's got 2 valves on it. One goes to the 2 10-foot beds. The other goes to these 3 20-foot beds. So it's buried from that short stint from there to here. Comes up right here. So all of this is distribution tubing, the blue stripe distribution tubing. I think it is 3/4 inch. It is by Irrigation King. I'll put some links in the description. This is 5/8 inch drip line or drip tape. I don't think it's technically drip tape. Drip line, I think. Got valves to be able to control each individual line if I want to, because sometimes not all the plants have the same water needs at the same time. All of my beds are 30 inches wide, so 2.5 feet. Do 3 lines per bed. I've just got a little end cap here. Stuff's not cheap. It's also not terribly expensive and reusable. I'll go walk out to the front yard, show you the front yard line. So those 3 lines come out here through the back side of the fence. My greenhouse butts right up against our fence. 3 lines come out this way, go underneath all this foliage. Comes out from under here, buried underneath here. Goes under here. 1 line. Comes all the way down. Oh, where's it come out? Somewhere around here. The mole may have dug up where it comes up. Yeah, I think the mole covered it. But that line jumps over here to the right, hits all of these pepper beds, and then it's on a T. And the other bit of the T runs down along the sunflowers and hits the last bed at this end. Sorry, bees, I'm about to walk through your space. So then it splits again. Not again, but it splits underground here. So the other 2 hoses go this way. One of them pops up right here. This is that hose line I was talking about. Comes up on the back side of our grape covered bench. Hose drops down there. Other line continues on. Comes up from underground right here. Does the same thing again right here. And then again right here. And then this waters all of these sunflowers. Most of the beds I only have 3 lines or even 2 potentially. This one I got 4. It's my 1 3-foot wide bed. Peppers have been seeming to enjoy the added benefit. Yeah, and that is the distribution setup and the irrigation setup. Thanks for watching.